Hey guys, and welcome to a video that, upon thinking about it a little bit, I probably should have done this about a month or so ago. But I didn't, and I know why, but it was mainly because I didn't think of it until recently. And the reason why I didn't think about it until recently is because as I'm churning through my massive YouTube video backlog, I've only now started to stumble into stuff from December that covered their people's top games of 2015 and their thoughts as they look into 2016. And I started to think, I was like, you know what? My 2015 for gaming was pretty pathetic. Maybe not as bad as I was thinking it was just a few minutes ago. I had to go to the N64 Forever forum and look at the games that I actually completed last year so that I knew just what kind of progress I made for the year. And to be honest, it was pretty underwhelming. And what was ridiculous is a lot of the stuff that I played in 2015 that I completed were either games that didn't come out last year, they came out years prior, or they were even games that I finished again, like I played and completed once more. For example, Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 2 Episodes 1 and 2. I played the X-Files game, and those were games that I'd already played multiple times in the past. And then I also completed stuff like Medal of Honor. That was the reboot or whatever that came out a handful of years ago. I completed Dead Island Riptide, Far Cry 3, Fallout 3, Game of the Year Edition, and Battlefield 3, a lot of threes. And those were all games that did not come out last year. They came out in, way back, some of them a good almost 10 years ago. So the only thing that I played last year that was at least a mainstream title that I played last year and completed would be the entirety of the Life is Strange episodic game. So just by virtue of that, just by virtue of default, Life is Strange is my game of the year for 2015. Because of all the games that came out last year, that's the only one that I played. Now, some of that is because I don't have a PS4 yet. It's getting very, very, very close. But I didn't have a current-gen console throughout last year. So all those big titles, the Fallout 4s, the Witcher 3s, Metal Gear Solid 5s, and a whole slew of other titles that people are throwing around right now, or whether they were a month or so ago, for Game of the Year, I didn't have access to any of those. At least not for consoles. Some of those games were available for the PC, but I'm just not playing them on a PC. My computer wouldn't do those games justice the way PlayStation 4 will. So, I can't offer much to the discussion of what was 2015's Game of the Year. I know that a lot of the ones that are at the top of people's lists, like Witcher 3 and Fallout 4, those are games that I'm looking forward to playing, and I'm hoping that they're as fucking badass as people are saying that they are. But I can't really say anything more than just I want to play them, and I hope that they're awesome. And then there's some other games out there that I noticed got mentioned in a lot of people's lists, like Rocket League. Hey, if you like it, awesome. More power to you. Not my thing. Not something I would ever want to play. A lot of the guys from GameSpot that I watch, the Funhouse crew, Steven Larson, they all seem to enjoy those games. Played a lot of them on videos of theirs that I watched. And like I said, it looks interesting, but it's just not my thing. So anyway, 2015 for me was just about playing a bunch of other stuff aside from Life is Strange, which I thought was really, really cool. I'm sure when positioned next to those juggernauts I mentioned before, Life is Strange wouldn't be up there for most people. But I really enjoyed it. When I get my PS4, I'm going to get the collector's edition Life is Strange. But, so that's 2015. I played a bunch of stuff aside from Life is Strange that had nothing really to do with 2015 gaming, but now that I'm going to have a PS4, I can look ahead to 2016 and beyond. I won't talk about Beyond right now. I've kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think I'd rather just cover each year as it gets there, especially once I've got my hands on a PS4. But as for 2016, there is a handful of games that are on my radar for sure. Far Cry Primal, which comes out later this month. The newest MLB The Show, which I think comes out next month in March or maybe April. That's on my radar. I don't know if that'll be a day one purchase because the newer installments of the show are, in my opinion, way more difficult than the old PS2 versions. But I want a really nice, tasty looking baseball game to play. Let's see what else that's coming out later this year that was on my radar. There's a new Odin Sphere game. I think I've already pre-ordered that on Amazon because I doubt that I'll see that in my store. And what else? Gosh, I'm drawing a massive blank all of a sudden. Let's look at something here while I've got this up. I don't know, that Mega Man Legacy Collection, for some reason that's drawn me to it, even though that wasn't really my thing back in the days. There's a new, it's kind of a Walking Dead, Telltale Games Walking Dead spin-off game. Michonne, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, because I know that she's involved in the TV show, and I think this may be the first time she's being involved in the game. But that's like a 3-episode thing that comes out later in February. I see there's some remastered games I had no idea about. Heavy Rain, The Witch and the Hundred Knight. There's a new Mortal Kombat XL. I think that's like all the extra DLC. I would like to get that, but I don't want to talk about those kind of games right now. The new Hitman at some point might interest me. Gosh, let's see. What else do we have here? I gotta filter this out a little bit. Anyway, there's Doom, maybe so. New Mirror's Edge. There's the new Odin Sphere Life Thrasser. Deus Ex later on in the year, but I haven't really played any of the newer Deus Ex. That's not as much stuff as I was saying. Oh, Uncharted 4. But I'm sure there'll be a whole lot of new games announced, especially like around E3 time. I guess the moral of this story would just be I will have a PS4 soon. So for the next couple of years, whatever new stuff that comes along, it's going to be attainable for me. So all these things I watch on YouTube and see online, all the stories about new games that are coming out, that's gonna be something that I can get excited for and be interested in. And I haven't had that for a while now. This last year for sure saw a dramatic drop-off in big quality titles for PS3 and Xbox 360. And I think I've already talked about this, but even some of the games I'm going to get for PS4 are basically just dressed up PS3 and 360 games. Say, for example, Far Cry 4. And I guess even to a certain extent, Metal Gear Solid 5. These are games that, okay, I don't know if a lot of people realize this. Probably most of the gamers who may watch this and who are interested in this would know it, or they'd have some idea that this is how it works. When you have a new console, but the old console's still going, and they choose to release those games on both consoles, one of two things is happening. Either they have made a game, I'm just going to use this little piece of balled up paper here, either they made a game for the PS3 or 360, just using this generation right now as an example. they've made a game for the PS3 and the 360, and then they go and they take it and they kind of smooth it out a little bit and make it a little prettier for the new consoles. But it's still this, just looking a little bit better. Or they may make a game for, you know, the Xbox or the Xbox One or the PS4, and you know, it's this nice thing here, and then they make some sort of a crappy version of it for the other console, and it's like this. A good example, in my opinion, would be, well, I guess a more recent one would be Black Ops 3. I saw comparison screenshots for the multiplayer, since the PS3 and 360 versions didn't even have the campaign. In the multiplayer version of Black Ops 3 on PS4 and Xbox One, the environments they look good, and they have certain assets and elements in them. And on the PS3 and 360 versions, where there was a big tank or militarized vehicle in the current gen versions, the last gen versions had like a van or just some sort of little truck in its place. Like literally, not only did they just dumb down the graphics, they literally had to put other things into it, and it just wasn't great. I guess a previous gen comparison I would make is Mercenaries 2, the World in Flames. I loved the first Mercenaries, Playground of Destruction. Played it on the PS2, still love it, would love to play it again sometime soon. When the second game came out, I was totally eager to get into it. Now, I own the PS2 version of the sequel, but I also own the 360 version of the sequel. When I got the 360 version of the sequel, I wanted to check it out. It was a good-looking game. It wasn't bad. But the PS2 version was garbage when compared to it. I mean, I thought the second one was a major letdown after the first one was so awesome. But the PS2 version was a massive letdown over the massive letdown that was the 360 version to me, because it just didn't look quite the same. It wasn't like that. In my opinion, I don't think they made the PS2 version and then said, oh, well, let's pretty it up a little bit for the other ones. I think they literally made the 360 and PS3 versions of that game, and then some other company took whatever it is that they need to, like the bones of that game, and then threw it together to make a PS2 version that just looked and handled and played like shit. So, going forward, I guess that's what the gist of what I was trying to say is, going forward, now that so many things have stopped basically being made for the old consoles, going forward we're going to see so much more awesome games made just for this current generation. And I'm going to be like up to my knees in these games, if not up to my nose in these games. You're going to be surprised when I have my pickup video for February. It's pretty much going to be dominated by PS4 stuff, and I may have gone a little overboard or will go a little overboard. The list that I have out now is quite a few games. I'm just not going to have this chance again for a while anyway to gather up some of the big titles from the last two and a half years, and a few of the things that are out right now, and then a few of the things this year that are coming out that I want to get. I just won't have this chance again for a couple of years, so I'm going to make good on it. I am going to have myself a nice little PS4 library, and even though some of the games I'm going to buy are going to be like life consumers, I'm still going to stockpile up on stuff. And I'm going to dedicate, if there is anything I can say for 2016 for sure, it's that the YouTube stuff that I love is going to have to come down a little bit. It's going to have to take a back seat to gaming again. I'm ready to game. I'm ready to take a break from Gary's Mod and stuff like that. I'm ready to simmer down the YouTubing, the YouTube watching anyway, because I want to do videos on the PS4 games that I play and all that. But I want to simmer down on the watching of stuff, and I want to spend time playing my PS4 and enjoying it. Because I do look at it, for me, as a 41-year-old man, the PS4 should be my last console. Well, okay, I guess I keep saying that. I keep even saying that to myself. There's the possibility still lingers out there for getting a Wii U or the NX, whichever one of those things I will need in order to be able to play the new Zelda game and like Xenoblade Chronicles X. I'm still holding out. I forgot I kind of wanted to talk about this for a moment. I want to be able to play the new Zelda game, the new Xenoblade Chronicles X, and a handful of other Wii U titles. So it either means getting a Wii U, unless Zelda gets shipped over to the NX, say it was over on the NX only, that would drive me towards the NX. But what would definitely drive me towards getting an NX is if it was backwards compatible with Wii U games, so that I could get my sampling of those Nintendo games I want to play from that console. So yes, I'm getting a PS4 for sure. Should be within the next day or two, I hope. At least at the time I record this video on the 11th of February. But I will probably also end up getting a Wii U or the next Nintendo console, whatever I need to be able to play those couple of games. But, so the PS4 and then that console, that's going to be it for me. I'm not going to buy any handhelds. I already tried the handheld thing. It doesn't work for me. The future of gaming in general with all the digital stuff, the way that they're even pushing it, like my Walmart store to do digital download cards instead of the games. It's so depressing when I love to have a collection that I can look at and hold and feel. I understand the desire to get away from, a case and plastic and paper and all that. They've already cut out the I don't know if I have a game close at hand here that's from a new thing. I don't. But if you're a gamer and you've been buying physical games here lately, you know that like when you open them up, first of all, there's no manual. That blows. But yeah, it's cutting down on materials, waste materials and stuff. But also, like if you open them up and you were to take the slipcover out or the discs or whatever out, you'll see where they even have, I don't even know that I have a Blu-ray here close at hand that I can maybe demonstrate this on. Yeah, okay. So here's a Blu-ray case. I take all the stuff out of it. All these designs in here, it's not just to be pretty. It's cutting out materials. It's cutting out plastic. I understand that they want to do that. It's a good thing. Our world is loaded with trash, and that's a horrible thing. But, man, that's why oldsters like me, guys who are probably from about, say, 30 on up, if you've been gaming since the 80s or the 90s, it's a nostalgia thing. Or these will soon be a nostalgia thing. These will soon be a thing where you'll be like, wow, remember when I had those cases? Remember when we had the instruction manuals? Remember when we had all those good things? Gone. And it kind of blows. It's unfortunate. So anyway, I'm rambling now at this point, but 2015 was a meh year for me. Only one 2015 game that I played. I played more games and completed more games than I thought I did, but they were all old games or replaying stuff. 2016 is going to be different. I'm going to have a PS4. I'm going to have a shit ton of games to play for it, and I'm going to have to make myself make the time for that. Because what good is all this mountain of stuff behind me if I don't enjoy it more than just seeing it on a shelf? That's 2016 gaming for me. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you hopefully really soon.